We welcome in Ross Lyon from the Fremantle Dockers. Walked away from the NCG with mixed emotions yesterday, Ross. Frustrated, but on some positives as well. So, what about you?
Yeah, frustrated and disappointed overall, but certainly new week, new dawn, new opportunity. But yeah, we need to review it and train well and prepare for Adelaide.
I think we all agree that the team looked flat. They butchered the ball. They didn't take the right options. The skill errors were there, etc. But to be so close at 9 points in the last quarter, that's why I walked away thinking, well, geez, it was hardly your best team. So there are some things to look forward to going into the future.
Yeah, look, I think it's a really positive way to look at it. And there's no doubt, Aaron should play this week and Nick Subban should be available, and we see him in our best sort of 18, 22. So that's a positive, but I don't think we can ignore how poor our stoppage work was. There's been a theme when we've struggled. Our clearance work has been really bad. So I think, everyone's got to take some responsibility for that. Starts with me, and then it goes to Kirk and Stone and, Fife, Mundy, Barlow, all those types, and the ruckman. So we'll look at that. And we just slaughtered the footy as well when we did have some golden opportunities. So it was a combination. But look, I thought Richmond were a little bit harder than us when it counted and ran a bit harder than us when it counted, so we're disappointed with that.
Ross, probably going back to the Geelong games, around 14, 15 against St Kilda, you're ordinary with just basic skills and disposal and sometimes under no pressure, missing targets. I thought better against West Coast, and then on the weekend again, just gave the footy away too easy. Is that something that you've measured over the last month, and how does that compare? If you have.
No, not so much measure. I think it's just blatantly obvious when you slaughter the footy. I think it's just a bit. No, I think we spoke about doing the basics well. So some of those slaughtered kicks it'd be 8, not backing back quickly enough and getting off your mark and getting it to the free player. So it was like half backing off and kicking them out of the mark and missing opportunities. So we spoke about that, but clearly we must be doing it somewhere in training. So you wouldn't want to be a player this week that doesn't back off at training, I can tell you that one.
Yeah, for sure. Now, on your opposition analysis, you would have realised that obviously Richmond are 1 and 2 or thereabouts in the scoring from stoppages. Yep. So, and unfortunately, your boys just allowed them to do that again yesterday.
Yeah, look, and I looked at all the scores against today, and our defenders have played a part of it. They only walked out the length of the ground once, so with real midfield spread. So a number of times they just got hacked forward, and then defenders got beaten one-on-one, and which has been unusual for them. But they'll see some vision tomorrow that they won't put up on their mantelpiece as their best efforts. So it was not only the mids, it was the backs as well. So, but it's such a hard game. I have felt if you're down in one area. At the end of the day, what we lost by was the difference in the clearances. So turnover scores were equal. We scored on kick-ins and they didn't. So the real difference was clearance scores. So it's pretty simple.
You had a lot of young. You've got a lot of young players, a lot of inexperience in the side on the weekend. How much responsibility do you, as a senior coach, put on them?
Well, once you run down the race, I'm sure they think they're picked and ready to go. So they don't walk into my office and say, "Coach, pick me," but I can only give this much. So we pick them on performance and ability to give to the team's needs. So we understand they're young and they won't understand all scenarios, but there's no excuse for not tackling, for not chasing and not competing. So, the 8 certificate doesn't have on it you can't compete. So we're pretty strong on that. You come in and you compete, and you see some other young teams around the league that are competing really well. So we don't discriminate once you run down the road.
Ross, the thing that was also frustrating yesterday, I mean, I know that Hanneth and Zach took a few marks, but they dropped more than they should have too. I mean, and that's paramount, isn't it? Because if you take the mark, then they can feed the ball off to a runner or whatever, and things look terribly, terribly dangerous. But when they continue to get their hands first on the ball and drop it, Aaron does it a bit, and the ball comes to ground, those blokes who weren't going to be in the play all of a sudden are in the play.
You're right. It gives you flow through the line, doesn't it? If you catch it and dish it off, you're moving. Look, for the first time we won the contested mark battle 16-7 or 9 or something like that. But it's where you take them. They took 2 or 3 in their forward 50. We didn't take 1. So, look, I think they are young ruckmen. There's an article Simon Madden on Cruiser, was another one picking the country, said you won't see the best into 100 games. So I think Jack's in his 6th or 7th game, and Zach Clark is a ruckman. He's really thin on the ground as well. So we know that they're going to continue to grow, and they'll continue to get opportunity. And look, Aaron's at the back end, isn't he? I mean, if we all talk seriously, really, the three guys that weren't there, McPharlin, Pavlich and Aaron, are the back end, you know. It could finish very quickly for those guys. So we had a look at Fremantle going forward, you know, so we need our young guys to step up.
You've had a lot of consistent players playing really well, getting a lot of the footy, but have you been concerned in the last few weeks that a few of the good opposition players have been getting off the leash?
Yeah, look, you come up against quality every week, you know. As a rule of thumb, I think we do it really well. And our midfield, you know, you don't sit basically fifth on the ladder if your midfield hasn't been able to deliver. So we've lost 4 games, and one of them was by a kick, or 2 of them, you know, we're really close. So they're doing a lot right. It's a long, arduous season, but we want to be a no-excuse football club. So we've got to look at the reasons why we fell short, and then improve this weekend. Adelaide are going to come over full of life. You know, they've knocked off Geelong, and you know they're a confidence team, and the challenges don't get any easier.
Well, hasn't it changed the landscape? Because we thought, well, every game's big, we know that, but every game's a danger game. But we thought maybe they'd be coming over this week, probably out of the hunt. They're right back in it now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, you don't want easy games to get to the finals. You want to earn the right to get there, so then when you're there, you know you can stand up under real pressure. So if you're going to stand up under pressure doing home and away, and nobody's been gifted a finals ticket. So we want to earn the right to get there, like we have been. And so when we get there, we know we can stand up against what's thrown at us. So this week's a really big challenge.
I thought you made a great point. I think it was during the week where you made the statement that people have been saying you've got an easy draw. You haven't seen it yet. That rings true, doesn't it? Hey? When you have a look at the weekend.
Yeah, the competition. I mean, the Pies Cup. You know, we knew when we went up there early in the year at Gold Coast how dangerous they were and how difficult it is. And if you know, really, at the end of the day, all the Pies didn't do was kick straight. They dominated every other area. So, and Adelaide, you know, Geelong are 30 points up. It's frightening, really. And the Blues are really capable of being a top 4 team when you look at their personnel. So, and they're sitting, ninth on the ladder. It's a frightening proposition. If you want to breathe out and you think you can bathe in the glow of success, you get a really sharp reminder in this competition, as we did on the weekend.
So Big Aaron back. Who else has come under strong consideration for a game this week?
Yeah, well, Subban, obviously off injury. And then reading the Waffle report, Josh Mellington was very good, and Viv Mitchie was very good again, and Fawkes was very good. So we'll have a look at him. You know, can he come in, because we know he can really kick it and he can defend. So we will have a look at those guys in particular.
Just quick on Ross, I got an SMS from one of your fans asking about Morabito. Is he far away? Because I was reading a report that he was a couple of weeks away, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's really indefinite. You tag him. He's doing the majority of footy drills. You know, he's up around the 90th percentile, I suppose, of where he needs to. You need to tick 100 boxes. He's probably ticked 90. So we'll be taking no risk. We'll be going slow and steady. And Spin Anthony over the last few weeks, he's really happy with his progress. And I think it's probably about time, you know, that he feeds in himself. We like Anthony to be able to talk and outline how he's feeling, where he's at, and keep all our loyal members and fans involved. So I think that's probably prompted me. We'll have a discussion this week and see if we can get Anthony to give everyone an update, because I'm sure they're keen to hear.
Ross, strictly hypothetical. Do you like blokes who wear their hearts on their sleeves? Would you have Jack Rewalt? Could you fit Jack Rewalt into your team?
The hypothetical?
Yeah.
I don't know. Harry Taylor signed, hasn't he? Or is he with
No, he hasn't yet.
Oh, he hasn't signed?
Well, I haven't seen it officially signed.
I might have tore his contract after yesterday's kick.
No, because your contract...
And I've loved Blakey over here and Buddy. I got the most powerful full in the competition at the Doctors. I got Franklin, Cloak, Mitch Clark, Rewalt, and Gumbleton.
Can you get one?
I don't need any more. We got enough.
Can we get one?
$1 bucks has gone a long, long way.
How much? Can I get an honest answer out of you without being flippant, right?
You know I never lie to you, Cum.
How much of a say do you actually get in list management? How much of a say, honest?
It's
a lot.
It's a long-winded question.
That's a pause.
An answer. Yeah, no, not much.
I mean, you say what you want. I can understand. Like, as a coach, I'm going to say...
I think it's an opportunity for me to be, you know, and when you leave, at the end of the day, whether you got injuries are mounting and losses are mounting and recruits aren't coming on, at the end of the day, the senior coach wears that.
Mm.
But we all know underneath that, he's not responsible for selections and development and injuries. But at the end of the day, you need to be across everything to make sure the systems are really well. But when I walked into Fremantle, they started, which you guys know better than me, a list model in 2008, they were oldest list, highest paid, blah, blah, blah on the bottom. And they went down a path of selection and not giving away the first round pick and taking all the kids and being really trying to have a free swing in all the pre-season drafts with the guys like Jack Anthony and McPhee and that coming through. And they put a lot of resources to that, their development academy. They thought, if we're taking all the kids, we've got to really pump up the development, hence Simon Lloyd and 4 coaches and lots of footy IT. So I've just come in and witnessed that, supportive of that. The only time I'll buy in is they'll ask me, what do you think the needs are on the list? And I mean, you have to be a genius to work out with like some power forwards and, you know, some young key backs coming through to replace McFarlane. So, but that's pretty obvious, and that's what I'd say to them. And then, second to that, if we have an AFL Pro Scout, headed by Brad Lloyd, they'll look at everyone in the system, uncontracted, free agency. They'll put everything together, and I'll be asked my opinion on that player, as will all the other coaches, and then the list management would make a final decision and would be fully informed. So it's not, no one's empowered to make a decision and act on their own, and I'm just one piece of the puzzle. So certainly my opinion on an AFL player would have some weight, but it's certainly, I'm not over to sort of dictate, which I like, but I mean, there's a lot of misinformation. But I know when things go bad, and you look at other clubs and possibly even where you've been, everything gets sheeted home to the senior coach. So that's probably where it sits.
Ross, we've gone over time, but it was worth it. Appreciate your time. Good luck on the weekend, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, I appreciate it.
See ya.
Ross Lyon.